Welcome back, punters, to another review show. Of course, good morning, John Walter. We're going to obviously cover off the Rosehill meeting from Saturday. Good track, good betting.
It was good. It was good to see sort of a return to somewhat normality for Rosehill lovers. It wasn't a day where it was advantage down the middle, which scares the life out of anyone who usually bets at Rosehill. Back to sort of rails in run and not coming from back and wide unless you had a solid pace advantage, which nothing really had. So it was a pretty easy day to work out if you set it up that way.
Yeah, quite a few double-figure odds winners, so that made it a bit tough from a punting point of view, I suppose, for most. But still, we saw some decent racing for this time of the year, and I suppose we should just get right into it, John. The 2-year-old race, the 1100 to start off with. We've got an average tempo here. Last section was pretty poor. Don't know what it says much about this field at all. Do you have an opinion here?
Looked a bit like that to me before it. Kind of got a bit lucky and signalled out the two horses that ran 1-2, but it was more by default, and I think that's kind of how it went here as well. Like, it wasn't as if the winner was given a great ride. Sort of, you see it second last being dragged out of the race here, Disney. The horse that ran second, what's it called, Komochi, behind the leader. I thought it's a real potential improver going forward. Just really liked its trial leading in and thought it was given a pretty plain ride here, just not much oomph put into it. Just waited. Got out, hit the line okay. I think it'll improve, race-wise from it. The winner's a good effort, just clearly superior from the rest of the race runners, there's no doubt. And I think they're just clear 1 and 2 going forward. The other horse that did run quite well, just get back to the start. It's hard to work these sorts of horses out, but 2-year-olds obviously can rapidly improve, and this horse obviously doesn't really understand what it was there to do and had never been in a race that had gone this quick before or a bit of work or anything. I thought it finished off quite well. It's called Bear to Witness. It can improve back to country provincial grade preferably, but those sorts of horses, you can see it getting home down the middle here, can improve rapidly with a run under their belt.
Yes. Yeah, well, I've got nothing much to add, John. I mean, I think these are just a very bunch.
Dangerous race, isn't it, to want to carry that form to anything higher class, but certainly, the winner second and that horse were, did enough to say they've got a future.
Indeed. Let's talk about the Midway over 2,000 metres, slow tempo here, and that made it actually really slow, actually. Really slow. Wolves going off for a spell now. He pulled up slow to recover, having worn the concussion plates, and Love and Chiller, the horse I had something small on.
It's flying, that horse.
Bit in the Sears report about the ride and whether he took the right option, wrong option. I suppose the winner there, on the fence there and running third at the moment. Got the job done, and what else do you say about the race?
Yeah, Tim obviously did the right thing here. They were just going way too slow, and he took the front on this Jack Duggan. It had its chance for sure. As I said, the Wolves had pulled up with an issue. The winners had the best run of all time. Favourite, what do you do with it? Thought it was insanely short, just for the quality of horse it is. A bit of a non-winning type. He gave it the best ride you could possibly hope for, and it still couldn't pick up the winner who sits inside it in the run. So no excuses for the favourite. And I thought Loving Silla's testing the patience of the people following it, but he's certainly flying, and it's probably strongest through the line, arguably, after being held up. You can see it's still keen in the run here, third last defence. Yeah, it's probably the horse I could entertain following out of the race, but I've been watching it for a while, and it keeps finding similar issues. As long as you're getting a price about it, again, next start, it's probably worth entertaining, but big track and some tempo on would certainly suit it.
Yes, yeah, indeed. I don't know. I'd be wanting to sort of back too many of these going forward.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you do with the winner? That's right. Like, it's a cautious race, isn't it? Because the winner's done an okay job, well set up, but it was in the perfect spot. Sat sprints. The last section's, okay, but it had to be, didn't it? It was entitled to be. What do you do with it? Can't really knock it. Probably the worst run in the race was the favourite for mine. If they go another 20 metres, it runs fifth. So I'd probably rather be negative on the favourite and neutral on the winner.
Fair enough. Let's talk about the highway over 1100 metres, average tempo here, bigger field, and a couple of reasonable runs in the race. Extra flash that wide, no cover, and boxed on pretty well. And a number of horses got held up. I'm a True Star. I thought Total Forgive run, and it's pretty obvious from the stewards report and the video that that's the case.
The horse I found in the race. It's the horse I backed. I mean, yeah, it was a funny ride, but it's a bit of that sort of horse. Probably it gets the luck and it bursts through, and it's probably sort of ride it needed, just didn't get it. So I agree with you, just a complete forgive.
Leader punctured, pulled up slow to recover, so maybe an excuse there. It's that thing with the ball.
Pretty bunch finish, there. Wasn't it? Pretty bunch finish, pretty average bunch of horses. No real surprises, as in I thought like the on paces are one paced battling sort of types. I thought that the horse with the white nose you sort of talked about there's probably the run of the race, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because I don't really think it's a high class animal. Yeah. I think there's not much between these horses at all, and not much to be learned.
Yeah, below average last section there. I don't think there's too much in the race that you'd want to take forward.
Take turns horses, aren't they? Like that, the winner probably had the nice run, did a little bit of work, but had a nice run. And whatever gets a nice run over those horses next time will probably win. It's take turns horses.
Yes, of course. Let's talk about something more interesting here over 1800 metres. Good old Mission Phoenix, bless its heart, gets the job done straight to the front. Pretty good ride by Tyler Schiller, I thought.
He rode it like as in perfectly for what the horse needed. He just rated it well, which was the key to he didn't need Global Osbred to drive him mad, which he succeeded in doing so. Conserve the energy, kick. The horse is absolutely flying. I think this is a pretty solid race. Tony B obviously pulled up, 2 out of 5 lane?
Yeah, 2 out of 5, yeah.
So it's the forgive in the race.
Global Osbred, slow to recover.
Yeah, I thought like floating was a pass, just up in grade. It was just way too short price-wise. It was just a totally different race to what it sort of faced last time. Thought it still did quite a good job. I didn't even mind the run of the last horse here, Oceanic Flash, who's first up off 100-odd days and thought he'd hit the line quite well. I think this form will certainly hold up over the summer months. The winners will continue racing well. No fluke in it. Worthley's 2 runs back have been really good. Think that the Matthew Smith horse probably coming to the end of it. Would be surprised if they kept going on with it, even though it's racing well. Is it floating? And this bloke was the run I thought wasn't bad, considering first up and chased right to the line. It's got a race in it over the next month or so. I'm not saying it'll be next start. Stay as second up, a tricky to place, but racing well. Even this Baccio Del Mis continues to hit the line. They're all racing well, these horses, pretty much.
I mean, I think floating, the key there was the fact that it's sort of went into a race Saturday with not much tempo, and it came out of that very solidly run race at Newcastle. And obviously, J-Mac to Rachel was a bit of a negative.
It was a factor. Yeah,
it was a factor, and all those things add up to I suppose maybe its underperformance. It was a little bit easier late, wasn't it?
It was entitled to be, though, wasn't it? It was crazy short early, considering it was Matt last, and like you said, there was never really, unless the 2 leaders got at each other, which had to be poor rides from them. There was no other speed, was there? Like if the leaders controlled it between themselves, which they were entitled to, it was always going to face a tough task to circle the whole field, especially like you said, rider change and very, very different task. It was just they just got the betting wrong there. I think there was just a bit of which is good. I like it when that happens.
It was surprisingly a good price the winner, wasn't it? They bet so.
Well, they put up like $11, $10 or $11, and it was sort of chipped away at from Wednesday on, and probably came into about its right price come race time.
Yep, don't disagree at all. Okay, race 5, the 1100 metre race here, 78 handicap, and Authentic Duel. Bit cruel for those people on it.
Pain.
Vinny Verse bled, So it's out for 3 months.
Yeah, the lead up, it bled.
Yeah, I was on it, unfortunately.
Kind of makes sense. The horse has just been struggling to find that little bit under pressure, and when they over race like this, they're often got an issue or something. So it makes sense to me in hindsight that this horse has probably been bleeding internally and finally came to the surface Saturday. So it's a shame for Connections, but not surprising.
Yes. And Authentic Jewel, of course, kept laying in there late, so Brenton couldn't ride it right out, and probably, made the difference between
Definitely
winning and
cost
losing
the
for
race.
sure. Yeah.
Racing really well. Was chasing sat outside the leader both last two starts and put that horse away, and all over a winner here for sure. Rupertar probably just knocked up, maybe needs the sting out. Its effort was good first up, and it's a good horse, this winner. Obviously, Blinkers back off with this stable is not usually a positive, but I just do think they threw it on last prep maybe to have a look at it and try it out. And I think this horse is just a horse that doesn't need the blinkers. Ideally, run race for it, like as in where it's in the run, could sort of flow from the, 1 out 2 back position. Think it's a horse that does need to build through its revs, which was allowed to do, and no fluke in this win. I think this horse is a horse that can string a few together over the summer months if it's, up to 1,200 metres, maybe a bit beyond. I'm not really sure, but I think it's a very good horse. I think it's a horse that continues to improve, and it's come back well, and this form's certainly strong enough for summertime. I couldn't find anything in the closes that I really thought did a lot.
No, I mean, Purring Way was a little bit disappointing, wasn't it?
Thought it was really short, just again with the map, and when it won first up last time, it had that PR, didn't it? It was just a horse that was hard to find first up at Rosehill. Those on paces over that 1,100 there are usually the ones you want to find. When it was going to have to chase them down from a fair way back, I thought it was pretty aggressively priced, but it could improve. But I think it's a horse that needs a lot to go its way, and I'd struggle to. I'd forgive it, but I wouldn't be looking for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on to the Country Classic over 2,000 metres below average.
I'm leaving this race to you, Paul. I think this is a great race for you to analyse in depth.
Well, I won't be backing many into this, I can tell you. But plenty held up, of course. I mean, Dream Runner was unlucky, and Pepper's Ghost there, and Prost,
yeah, got it. Alain Prost.
Yeah, I think I'll leave this one to you, John. You can.
Mate, the most incredible thing is that you think you get whatever it was, how many ever runners, 1 million runners for 150 grand that probably should be running for 30. You'd expect them to at least have a shot at the title, but they go 12 lengths below roughly to the
below average.
Yeah, they go really slow, and then they get bunched and all run up their asses in the straight. So what I was most surprised about was the lack of vigor from any of the riders to put a bit of sting in the race. But the winner was ridden well. I think it was ridden by Apprentice.
Amy Lucas. Yeah, she's actually going really good.
It's hard to know what to make of her, isn't it? Because she does look a bit actor-goddish. She just seems to just lob in the right spot every now and then, and puts a hand up. But she's done it so many times now that you've got to start to say, well, maybe I'm underrating this rider. But the best part is she does it when she comes to town, isn't it? Like she puts her best rides in the hardest grade. So good luck to her. She's won like 3 or 4 of these sort of highway country races recently, which is great, but not great for too many punters. This is her tracking up in the Dally Williams colours, gets to the outside and wins. Dream Runner back in here in the red cap that's finding back ends that side and losing momentum. Prost back here in the white, similar with the green. It's struggling to find a gap. There's a few there you can see getting on heels. Very ugly race. Form-wise, I think it's just a complete joke, as in good luck trying to work it out. I think you drive yourself insane. You got this Connie Gregg horse flying home Deal Street, who's been around on the merry-go-round for about 3 months in his flying, but good luck working them out, and they'll all go back to their areas now, and you've got to try and work it out, so good luck. Indeed.
Okay, let's talk about the ATC Cup. So sort of average to above average tempo here, and that set it up for the winner, I think.
Funny race, isn't it? Changed complexion late, like it was... There's a few horses fighting it out, and they ended up. Bonnie sort of blew them away late. It was no fluky sort of. It was a good win, I thought, even though it had, as you said, a little bit of tempo to suit and probably come through the right part. It was pretty dominant late compared to the rest, apart from Rondino that ran into backside.
Yeah, it didn't have much run, did it? I had something on it, and
yeah, it looked a big price, didn't it? This looked a silly price for a horse that's going really well.
Indeed, Dr. Drill was backed again, and a bit disappointing.
Solid, but just won't put a race away, will it?
Exactly.
Steely was a bit keen to run held up, but still I thought was plain, even though.
I had a little bit of a doubt on it at the 2000, so that's sort of turned me off it.
Especially on a dry surface. I think it's more of a fresh 1400 metre horse, personally. I think Rondino's the horse to follow out of the race, as in maybe not even this prep, just think it's a really good horse.
It's going really well.
Most of the rest I thought had their chance. The winner was good and continued to race well. I think it's well set up. Splendiferous was good considering it was first up. Not much to report from me. The rest. Alcyone, don't even know. Like, they all had their chance, didn't they? Even these things down the middle. Regal Line got home okay. The Pale King was pretty plain. Like Bonnie's just attacking the horse attacking the line at a different level to the rest over the last 150, and even in on the line sort of wanted to half fall up. So I think these horses, there's not much between them, but I think we've covered it as well as we can.
Yep. Okay, let's move on to the Festival Stakes. Over 1,500 metres, average tempo. The Hong Kong horse, Sunshine Rising.
Holy heck.
Did plenty of work. Not a bad effort, but still obviously well below its best form, and it's had lots of issues. Obviously, off the trials, there was a bit of money for it early, of course, and it got back out, and then it was still enough, I suppose, of enough support there to sort of for it to hold its price.
Cole Crusher, Mark about it the day before or something, and he said, "What do you think?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "If it shows up like you're saying, like if it produces figures it was producing in its heyday, it's probably race over." But and I had no idea what it was going to be in the run. Anything. He's like, he said, "I've ridden it a bunch of times." He said, "It doesn't feel tired. It feels like a nice horse." I don't think they really knew what to expect either. And just look at it there. It's like 4 wide, no cover. Wasn't the place to be on the day. They're not going super fast, but it's still not the spot to be, and it gets carted wide, and it's still strong. Like you can see the class in the horse. It's just a monster run, all things considered. Where does it go? Can you trust it next start? Probably not. It's scary, isn't it?
I never like them sort of second over those very long spells. It always worries me a bit.
100%. You want to see them do it once, and then you're scared that they might not do it again, so you want to see them do it twice.
Cole Crusher noted on the dry surface there, saying it sort of stopped pretty quickly.
Needs a sting.
Needs a sting out for it. And but I still have to say to the race.
I think class in that distance probably sorted out too. I think Skyman's ready. I think he'd had enough against it to sort of say that it was a pass mark. Kiss Summer pass mark. Just hasn't been able to get anywhere near the speed or anything. Jojo Mezzamine, I thought, was better than it was first up. It's still just okay. These horses all had their chance. They all had their chance. We're sitting outside the leader first up. 1,500 is a good effort from the winner. Where does it go? Probably to that English race or whatever they call it now. It used to be the Villiers, but I'd say they probably have to come up a little bit to get to that Rondino form. I think. I think these guys are probably just a tier below that. Not much there, was there? Like nothing. They're just grinding efforts down the outside. It was definitely the run of the race.
I think the winner. Yeah, I think the winner's done a pretty good job. And as you say, that Sunshine Rising ran well, but I think I'd want to see it again. Do something before I back it.
I don't think you're going to get in 20s or anything next start, are you? Like they're going to find it again off that, and it's going to be a nightmare.
Starlight Stakes over 1,100 metres, Cephas. Yeah, exactly. Nice ride, I thought, but I wasn't on it.
Me neither,
Yeah.
and I agree with you. I think the ride won the race.
Naj Marty there, slow out. Foxfighter probably had its chance. I mean, it was wide and no cover,
Jeez,
but
it's flying though, isn't it? Like there's
it's
two rides I
going
want to
well.
highlight here. One that's very un-James McDonald-like. So the two horses, they're up. So this is Enchanted Heart, and I think Foxfighter's in there as well. So they both jump really well, and you can see it's forcibly taken back, Enchanted Heart. So it's a horse that's, well and truly entitled to settle on speed if the circumstances allow, and you can see the same with Foxfighter. They're both forcibly dragged back. So Foxfighter could have easily slotted in here, 4 lengths closer to the speed and doing the same amount of work. For whatever reason, he drags it to there, and James has done the same on Enchanted Heart. They haven't gone quick at all, which is another reason why you don't drag a horse like that. Foxfighter now ends up behind the Godolphin horse, has to come wide. James is like 2 lengths behind him, and they faced an impossible task. Both sprinted down what is arguably the harder place to be, and both ran really well. I thought this horse is probably, except I'll give up my horse to follow for the meeting. I actually thought its run was, for a horse that runs last, I thought it was very, very good. And I reckon once the little sectionals pop in that we haven't got yet, I wouldn't be amazed if it didn't run a really strong couple of sections there and just got tired late. So I think it's a horse to follow, Enchanted Heart. And we can probably talk about the race itself now after I've stopped whinging.
Fair enough. Well, the government, I was on Sky Command there, so not quite the job. Through the Cracks was okay. Sneaky Page every chance. Mr. Mosaic, it was sort of racing a bit keen, wasn't it? So,
stable confidence for the other one sort of turned me off, Mr. Mosaic. That they must have thought there was a chink in the armour there, but they were good rides, weren't they? Like the first two, just sort of outbluffed your horse. Like if your horse Sky Command leads, it probably goes very close, but no urgency there to sort of establish a lead. And then Sneaky Page was given the opportunity and he took it, which was, I think the right decision for that horse. Tim follows it across. They control the tempo. The two Gerald horses have given up control of the race and, arguably cost it or not. We'll never know. But all had their chance, I agree. Through the Cracks, back on the inside, racing really well. Actually, the other horse that I think is ready to go now is this horse, Surreal Step. I was following it during the wet season. It's run okay, was okay first up, sort of just ran up backsides here and wasn't bad through the line. Scary finding back markers in sprint races, isn't it? But at 1100 Rosehill, we've talked about a million times, it's very hard to be in that position. So if it finds a golden switch to a big track and a faster tempo, I think a few of the horses out the back here can improve.
Yep. I can't pop that run that you're talking about either, John.
Surreal Step. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, let's get on to this 7 furlong last 1400 handicap, and good ride there by the winner.
Another good ride.
On the winner, I should say. Yeah.
You can't see him. It was very dark. Come to the last, it was very dark. Oh,
I was on Asakawa here, which was a bit disappointing, I thought.
Yeah, I think it was a weird. I sort of thought the map was a little bit different to this, or a bit more pressure. Obviously, short shorts again missed the start, which changed it a little bit. But I thought there'd be a couple that had saw forward, and Josh just kind of commanded the front early and then bluffed him out of it. Didn't he? Just took it away from him, and even Banju just sits up there and happy to face the breeze. After is that? Hang on, who's riding it? After we just given her a wrap, is it that young girl, Amy Lucas? Yeah. So no, she didn't do a lot wrong, but just sort of sat there and ran cover for the Nancy Missile. And what these sorts of races, when sort of assessing them, to me, like this horse is not in the race. What was it called?
Ban Roy.
It wasn't in the race. Banju's sort of having to work and wide, and if it was like a 10-1 chance anyway, wasn't it, or something similar, $11 chance.
Like
Bend the knees, to me, going like a busted. Short shorts, once it leads, once it doesn't lead, is basically a non-runner. So you got cover from 4 horses here, which I love that if you're on the leader, but it's also, to me, a warning sign wherever this goes next time. This time it had a perfect setup to do its best. It had that cover behind it, and then Akasar was probably the first horse with any ability that's in a decent position. Like you said, it was probably disappointing. I'm Lethal's a bit of a non-chaser. This horse, Coils, is a non-chaser. And the only other real horse in the race for me is Democracy Manifest, who's faced everything against it and run really well again. But it's another horse testing the patience, isn't it?
That's right.
It can finish a race off, but it's finding itself in that position too often. I thought this horse was a good run. Mark Schnell just kept coming. It's definitely not suited this race, and I think sort of back to midweeks and up to a mile, and when it could settle a little bit closer, I think it's ready to go.
Righto. Well, that wraps up the meeting. The horses to follow, John?
Mark Schnell and Enchanted Heart and Surreal Step out of that race. So I've gone 3 horses that were back markers to a certain degree. But I don't think any of them have to settle that far back in the right race.
For me, I'm probably just going to go with Rondino out of the meeting.
Bloody incredible record, isn't it? Jesus.
Yeah, it's going really well. Going really well indeed. Okay.
Next Monday, we will have to discuss what we know. I'm probably, my old man's a bit crook, so have to go down to Foster to see him. But not to say we can't do it remotely potentially, but we'll work it out between now and then. But maybe next Monday, or if you want to have a week off, it's up to you. But we'll work it out there. Are we on this Thursday? I'm not sure.
Probably not. The only, I think it's the Northerly Stakes on Saturday, which is a Group 1, but that's the only race. So we might just send something out on social media or something. Yep. And rather than sort of do a show for that. And it's coming towards Christmas, and we're Mrs. Daly and myself, we're now empty nesters officially. So the last one has, yes.
So you're building the Taj Mahal just for yourself?
No, not just for me. It's for the kids to come and visit.
Oh, come and visit. That's right, but they're not going to be full timers.
Have holidays? No, they're doing their thing, and one going back to Perth, and one sort of starting her judges associateship. Now she's finished her second degree, and the young one sort of plugging away there with business. So yeah, all going good.
Nice. So do you think they're going to stop costing you money now, or no?
Well, I need to have those conversations with them. That especially the boyfriends when we go out to dinner, and it's not always me that has to stick my hand in a kick. They've got some money in there somewhere.
I've never met a family boyfriend that owns a wallet. So good luck with that.
Well, it's been costly up to date, I can assure you.
100%.
Yeah, indeed.
Good luck to everyone betting this week.
Enough of that. Indeed. Hope you're back plenty of winners, and we'll see you back soon. And hopefully, as I said, we'll try and get something out for that race at least. And as far as next Monday goes, it may or may not happen, depending on John's situation. We'll work it out. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.